Hi there, everybody. Irish Right Arm here again. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some things that I posted in the last video first. When I said that I don't believe that there are people on the right in our country, in America, in the US, that are too far right, I do need to clarify that. There is a very, very small part of the American people that are supremacists. I'm against violence, period. Unless you're defending yourself, I call for nonviolence. Unless your country is at war. That's a completely different thing. But on a personal level and a societal level, we as a people should not be violent towards any other. And along with supremacists, because there are more than one kind of supremacist, all of them are too far. I don't care if they are white or not. I don't care if they are left or right or somewhere else. Racism is evil, in my opinion. And I've never been racist. And I think it's important for our society and our country to be humans together. To me, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, or white or black, or Jewish, or anything else. I think we need to identify as Americans. I do. I've always identified as an American. Now, the name of my channel is Irish Right Arm because I couldn't think of anything else better. I couldn't think of anything else that would fit who I am. The nationalists, that's a whole different story. Nationalists take pride in values that they hold dear. Now, I wanted to touch on a lot of things in this video. I'm trying to keep it short this time. What happened in California recently with an elected official of the Democratic Party in California, Maxine Waters, for her to get on live TV in front of a crowd and them cheering her on when she says that when you see somebody out in public, at a gas station, at a department store, at a restaurant, that doesn't believe in what you believe, to incite a mob, to incite violence. Now, for anyone to say, as a member of a political party, an elected official, to say that they are not welcome just because Maxine Waters is a Democrat. For anyone to say that somebody that is of the opposing political viewpoint in our country is not welcome anywhere is wrong. It's divisive. It's hateful. And it's evil. It's evil. There's no way around it. Unless you don't care about the democratic process. Unless you don't care about your country and our society. I don't know how it got that bad. It got that bad. When you have Republicans and people who work for the Trump administration being publicly ridiculed by mobs of people, that's not good either. Our country needs to be better. Our country needs to be better. And in my opinion, this is not good. And I'm not the only one who has this opinion. And I'm not the only Republican. I'm not the only person. There's plenty of Democrats that feel the same way I do. There's a lot more people in our country than you might think. If you're a Democrat and you're watching this, maybe you don't believe in this either. Maybe you don't. I hope you don't believe in inciting mob violence. I hope you don't. And there are going to be people that do this type of thing. But I don't remember it ever happening this big on a national stage in an age where we can communicate instantly with everyone or who we choose to. The country got smaller as technology skyrocketed. It used to be that it would take months for news to get from one part of the country to the other, or even maybe a little farther back, when it would take even longer, years, for news of something that happened in Europe to reach the United States, or Australia, or Asia, India, Africa, South America. When I said in my previous video that there are things happening in the college campuses that are very concerning, what I was hinting at, and if you don't know about it, look it up, please. Don't take anything that I ever say at face value. I don't take anything that anybody else says at face value. I look it up, and I find out what it's all about, and then I form an opinion after I've done research. In our college campuses, there is such a thing as microaggressions and safe spaces. Microaggressions, the idea that I could speak words to you and they be so offensive that it is exactly the same as doing bodily harm, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The safe spaces on college campuses? Come on. The United States of America is the safe space. You are safe, relatively safe, compared to anywhere else in the world. You're safe. And when I see how young Americans in college, and even young Americans in high school, that do not believe in the Democratic Party, that are Republican, being shut down by protesters. I get it. I get it a little bit. If you have a differing viewpoint, protest them. But don't do it in the middle of an event. Do it after. Or do it outside the event. And do it without violence. You're going to get more people on your side by being peaceful. And some might say that the right is violent. I don't remember seeing any instance since this whole culture war began, the whole thing that's been going on for the last 2 years. It's been going on longer than that, but this is where it's gotten real bad. I don't see where the right side is causing violence, inciting violence, perpetrating violence, creating it. They are reacting to it. If somebody's going to be violent towards me, I'm going to react. Physically violent. I don't care about words. Words don't matter in a one-on-one interaction. You can say whatever you want, just like I will say whatever I want. And that's part of what free speech is. It's not just that you have the freedom to speak anything. It's that you have to hear what you don't want sometimes. It happens to everyone. It happens to me. It happens to everyone. What's happened in Canada and the United Kingdom and Europe is probably going to happen here unless we stop it. Stop it by talking about it. There's a man in the United Kingdom named Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson was walking down a street in some part of London, or maybe it was another city, but it was in the United Kingdom. And he was just streaming live about a court case where it was alleged that those being tried in the courtroom down the road raped young women and minors, girls under the age of 18. It was called what do they call it? Grooming gangs is what they call it. And these were Muslims that came into the country, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about the facts of a case. The courts don't want the public talking about it because it makes the country look bad. That's what they think. There's no other explanation, because he was arrested for breach of the peace. He was not inciting violence. He only wanted to talk about an alleged crime. And it's not okay there in Great Britain to talk about certain things. And they don't have free speech. They don't. Not like we here in the US of A do have. He was arrested, charged, tried, and convicted within hours, and sentenced. To 13 months in prison for talking on his cell phone about a court case. And in Canada, there's a man named Jordan B. Peterson, who is a professor, has a doctorate, and he's trying his best to do his part to fight against those in the government and in the society that want to curb free speech. And there's a woman named Lindsey Shepherd, has a master's degree, went to university in Canada, and she was persecuted for showing a video that was aired on Canadian television where Jordan B. Peterson was talking about, on a panel of other people, about free speech. They were talking about Bill C-16. They were talking about transgender issues, whether it's okay to ignore what somebody's preferred gender pronoun is. Now, there are a lot of people that are probably going to be upset about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are two genders, male, female. Gender and sex are the exact same thing. There is no other genders. Two. It's binary. The trans issue is a non-issue. It's becoming an issue because there are people wanting to make it an issue. I have no problem with how people want to live their lives. No problem. But to force me or anyone else to talk a certain way is wrong. It's wrong. Bill C-16 in Canada made it protected class made it protected, just like it's protected in the United States for you not to be discriminated against for your gender, as in male and female, your age, your ethnicity. Made it the exact same thing. Made it so that it's against the law to discriminate against somebody. And how do you know if you discriminated against them? How are you supposed to know that somebody identifies as something other than what they appear to be? Is wrong. But in practice, it's going farther than what the bill is for. It's being used to shut people down. And they shut Lindsey Shepherd down. And she had good thought to record the conversation that took place when she was called to the dean's office. And no investigation showed that no one actually had a problem with the debate that they had in the classroom that day. It was made up. But back to the U.S. It's not okay that a very, very small number of people in the world make up what's called intersex, where someone is born not 100% male or female, basically. It's not fair that there are people on the left that are taking that and implying that anybody can be transgender because they want to be. What you identify as is not who you are. Medically, scientifically, you're born a female or male. You're not assigned gender at birth. You are a man or a woman. There are little boys, little girls, men, and women. That's the way it's been since the beginning of time. And there are people that want to change the way we think, the way we speak, the way we act, the way we treat everyone else. Treat people with respect. Fine. I do. But I'm not going to conform to some new thing that is scientifically inaccurate. I'm not going to do it. The facts don't care about your feelings, as Ben Shapiro says. With that, I'm gonna call it a day. I've been up all day. It's 3:45 a.m. here in the Central Time Zone in the U.S. And there's some things that we need to talk about and things that we need to figure out. Oh, one more thing. There's no fluidity about gender. There's not. Anybody can be whoever they want to be. There's no fluidity. There's one or the other. That's it. That's it. But those are my thoughts. And, anyway, I am the Irish right arm, and you may agree with me, and you may not. But let's have a conversation. See you next time.